Hi everyone, how's it going? Um, yeah, it's been quite a relaxing Sunday. It's been relatively quiet. I was still able to get a lot done, and I have ideas just reeling in my head. I really just came online to talk honestly. First of all, how are my fellow TIs doing? As usual, I'm always interested in what you got going on. So please let me know how you guys are doing. I know that targeting is still rife as ever. And in fact, if anything, it's getting worse. You know, a lot of us are dying more quickly than anticipated. And a lot of us are, getting infections at a rapid rate. So I do want to check in with you guys and find out how you guys are doing. Please let me know in the comments how you are doing. And yeah, that's that is one thing that I would like to know for this video. Second part is that yeah, the second part that I want to talk about with regards to my targeting is what I said yesterday. Now, coming online, I was so sure about what I was going to say, but then I realized it doesn't matter what I say anymore. Well, it actually does. That's actually the point of what I'm about to say. Now, today I've been walking around my flat and my neighbors have been quiet. Um, it's to my mind that they probably did something, but now that I'm talking about it, the emotions that I feel, the only thing that's really coming into my mind is why literally everybody in the fucking UK has a file on me except for me, and I haven't committed a crime. That's the only thing I can think of. And on top of that, if something has been done to anything of mine, then it's a situation where there is proof that I'm being trafficked by my own government, and not only that, they're deliberately trying to like commit more crimes on top of that in some kind of act of defiance against me. And it just makes me realize how powerful targeted individuals actually are. Now, I'm in one of those moods, right? I have one of those moods every few years or even every few months where, the targeting is relatively subdued and it gives me some time to think and it gives me some time to gain clarity into what gang stalking is. And truth be told, I really realized that even though it doesn't feel like it, because targets just go through the absolute fucking most when it comes to this program, I realized that targets are actually the ones with the power. Now, what you have to remember is that power is where men believe it lies. And the thing is, in order to convince men that you have a certain amount of power, you have to shape their perception, and you shape their perception by strategically taking resources and placing them where you want them to go. So that's how you can reinforce a lie. You can take resources and place them wherever you want them to be placed, right? So that's how you can manufacture a lie, and that's essentially what the gang stalkers do. Whereas with you as a TI, one word from your mouth is worth millions. Your emotions power an entire industry, and your negative emotions at that. You are literally, because of this program, as a targeted individual, you are at your most powerful when you are at your most vulnerable. You being upset, you being tortured, you being targeted, you being stalked, you being harassed, anything to do with your emotions or the words that come out of your mouth, they can mean literally the world. Literally. Your word is more powerful than any human law. Your word is more powerful than any Masonic law. Because let's be real about the fucking situation. Every single thing that you do, there is a whole interconnected network that responds to every single little piece of shit attention that they get from you. That's a network worth billions of pounds, billions of dollars. That's how powerful you are as a targeted individual. One word from you and that whole billion-dollar network that shifts and molds itself around whatever it is that you're feeling, and especially when it's negative. In spite of the pain that you're going through, in spite of the financial abuse, in spite of the emotional abuse, in spite of the physical, sexual abuse, you name it, it was always your world. If the second you were put on that list, it was always your world, and it was always those jackass gang stalkers that were just living in it. And you were merciful enough, time and time again, to let them live in it. The only reason why they have this network is because we're better people than they are. That's the only reason they still have it. Because if it wasn't, listen, the only reason why they still have this network is because we're better people than they are, because we value life more than they do. That's the only reason. But one word from us, it shifts it shifts a whole community's entire behavior, and that is just the smaller version of what I'm talking about. As a TI, you can shift nations. You can shift whole entire countries with your presence by yourself as one individual. Really, really think about that. No matter where you go, you mean to tell me you got this amount of manpower following you? If you didn't have power, what are they doing that for? If you didn't have power, then why would you be enough of a threat to need this? And it really begs the question, if targets are supposed to comprise of people that, that other people are not ordinarily going to listen to, then it really begs the question, are the people that are listened to, are they listened to because they're not that powerful and they tell people what they want to hear and they pander to them? It really makes you wonder. This was always my world. This was always my world. This was always a T.I.'s world. And everybody else was just living in it. And the only reason why they're still living in it is because I'm better than they are. Because I care more about my life and making my life joyful than making their lives miserable. Again, literally everything that you say, they want to take it up and they want to do something in order to prove themselves more powerful than you, and they want to use their resources in order to do it, to rewrite reality and tell themselves they matter more than they actually do. So, for all I know, they could have done something to my shit, but doesn't matter. It's not that I don't care, and it's not that it's not dangerous. Like, shit like that can be a biohazard. Shit like that can cause disease. Like, if it's one thing if you spit on something that's covered, right, and it's like it's covered in cling film, even though it's still gross. It's one thing if you on something that's covered or covered in cling film or something like that, something where the fluids aren't touching. That's one thing. But if you contaminate something directly onto another thing, then baby, you better make sure you don't have any diseases, because otherwise that's a biohazard. Could cause diseases and shit. You mean to tell me you want to fake or try causing somebody else diseases because of the way they made you feel when they said something? Because one word from you and your emotions are so powerful that somebody wants to make you ill, torture, or kill you. That's how powerful your fucking words are. That's how powerful your emotions are. That they have to think of that just to beat you, or even to try to have you scared that that will happen, just to beat you. Do you understand what I mean? And it's only just occurred to me, like, that's why, like, I've been walking around, like, I've been walking around Brighton just like, just cool, just feeling like I'm not invincible. Do you understand? But there's a feeling that like I've been feeling it for the last couple of weeks now. I've been feeling like, because my perception of my situation has shifted, it just feels like I've shifted, and it just feels like I'm moving beyond what people want me to be afraid of, and I'm starting to see things for what they are. But then again, I go through this like every few years or every few months. So it's a cycle that I'm going through right now. There's a cycle that I'm going through, but it's just making me realize the power that I always had as an individual, that my words were so powerful, that what I did was so powerful, that people needed to stamp it out. That's something that can be used. That's something that can be used for good. And the wonderful thing is that my selfish intentions and my selfish desires, it just happens to align with the needs of others and the good of the planet, ultimately. Now, I've been very blessed and fortunate in that sense. Do you understand what I mean? I'm not without my selfish desires. It's just that mine, it happens to kind of merge with the world, if, as it were, the good of the world, my selfish desires. They're still selfish, but it's just that I just happen to be on the right side. That's all it is. I'm not a hero. I'm not like anything like that. I'd love to think that I was. Don't get it twisted. I'd love to think that I was, but that's not what this is. I just happen to be born on in a certain place in a certain time, and that's all it is. Do you know what I mean? You know. But yeah, it does make me realize we are very powerful people. And I know that, I'm an alchemist. I like occult stuff. But the truth of the matter is that I might never have I might never have needed it to find peace of mind. I might never have needed it because I was already so powerful that like just a simple word from me shifts whole communities, whole cities, whole towns, whole villages, whole nations. And that's the reality of every TI. We shift the world just by our mere existence. That is the position that our enemies have put us in. And there's something that we can do with that. Again, why do you think there's all kinds of cyber abuse, all kinds of financial abuse, all kinds of different kinds of abuse? Why do you think that all exists? If you're really about that action, why would you need any of that? The truth about big dogs is big dogs are pussies. And the only thing you need in front of a big dog is to prove that you've got other little dogs willing to bite for you. Do you understand what I'm saying? That's the only thing you need. You don't need anything else. You don't need to bite a big dog. You just need to show up, bark, and show that you've got some other dogs behind you. And that's all you need. If you're a TI, you don't even need that. You just need to show up by yourself. I mean, I'm just saying. I'm just saying. But anyway, the power of a TI is an incredible thing. It's an incredible thing. And I understand I can't judge TIs for not seeing that. I can't judge you. Because at the end of the day, if you're being bombarded with negativity every day that you have to fight against, because remember, we're made of 70% water, and every single word that is spoken to a TI's body, it degrades the water in the body. It degrades the water in our bodies. And then on top of that, you have to deal with the irradiation to the water in your bodies. So I can't turn around and say, oh, well, you're to blame for not seeing yourself as you really are, or you're to blame it. No, you're not to blame for any of this. You're not to blame for not seeing the power that you have. It's not your fault because you didn't fucking ask for this to begin with. And then on top of that, you got people in your business or making shit up about you in order to weaponize it against you. You're fighting for your lives. So I don't blame you for not seeing how powerful you are. I don't blame you for that. I don't blame you for that. You're fighting for your fucking lives. Like, how are you going to see how powerful you are when you're laid up in bed because of what, because you're being tortured with electronic weapons? You can't get out of bed, or you're throwing up, or you got kidney problems because of these fucking weapons and because of other people's fuckery. How are you going to see that? But still, that's the truth. You laying in bed sickly, you are more powerful than these cunts at 100% capacity. And that's the fucking truth. It doesn't feel like it, but you are. And it's about time you were told the truth, my fellow T.I.s. It's about time that you were told the truth. And once that perception sinks in, it's going to change your entire outlook. There are so many laws with loopholes just to beat you. So much malice just to beat you. And in some instances, even that doesn't work. You are powerful as fuck. And somebody should have told you the truth. There ain't no way in hell that all of this needs to be done to you. And you're not on the side of truth, and you're not on the side of integrity. Ain't no way in hell all this shit needs to be done to you and you're not powerful. Get the fuck out of here. And on top of that, like I said before, you're powerful like you're most vulnerable. Think about that. And I know about my story. I know how I was supposed to come out. I was supposed to come out as a gang stalker. That's what I was supposed to be. I was supposed to be somebody who was isolated or exiled or something like that into being a bottom bitch. Only it didn't quite work out like that, did it? Didn't quite work out like that, did it? I wasn't bred to be this person who was standing up to the entire world, basically. I wasn't bred to be this person. I was bred to be a part of this gang stalking system, only it didn't fucking work because I'm not built like that. I'm too rebellious to be built like that, too fucking mouthy to be built like that. Don't want to be told what to do. If somebody's in trouble, I'll try and help them. That's the type of motherfucker I am. I was literally bred to be a fucking violent stooge, and now look. Now look, a verbal thug who's working against you. Huh. I don't want to hear about. I don't care about your street theater. Please answer me why everybody else has access to files on me but me, and I ain't committed no crimes. Run some street theater about that. And whilst you're encouraging everybody to commit crimes to try to humble me, I want to know exactly what does that prove about exactly what you're like. What does that prove exactly? If you're willing to have people commit crimes against me, and again, I'm not sure what crimes have been committed against me while I'm at the house. I don't always know. That's the truth. But you do. You as a government do, and you know when it's being done because my house is bugged. My technology is bugged. You know every fucking thing. So my thing is this. Why do you have all this information on me to pick and choose and cherry pick in order to bring to people so that you can lie to them or blackmail them to get them involved in this shit? Why do they have files on me and I don't have files on me? And especially when I ain't committed no crimes. Why is that? You better get some fucking street theater in place and explain that shit. And why do you have so many traffickers on my fucking case? Why do you have so many traffickers on my case? Now, don't get it twisted. I named a couple of people. Once upon a time, I named a couple of people who didn't have anything to do with me. I wouldn't be surprised if they're watching me right now too. But apart from them, apart from the ones that I mouthed off about, why did you send the rest of these traffickers after me to begin with? You've done so much shit, tried to front like you were enforcing the law. Where is my fucking file? That's all I want to know. Have some street theater about that. But again, you need all that manpower, all those resources, all those to say pathetic shit. And that's all you do. Or to do pathetic shit. Run me my fucking files. Ordinarily, I hate to sound like a broken record, but this one I'm going to let play like a motherfucker. Run me my fucking files. Stop playing with me. Anyway, with that in mind, I want to talk to you guys about something else as well. I've been, I said I was going to leave this subject matter alone, but I've been saying that for years. So I'm just going to stop lying to myself and all of you about that. I've been looking into like some videos about relationships and stuff. And I watched this video by Steve Harvey yesterday. I must have played it about 5 or 6 times. And he said, he was talking about the young men of today and this generation and how they're asking women, what do they bring to the table? And he's like, well, what about you? Like, as men, what are you bringing to the table? Now, this is a man who has been just as critical of women as he has of men. This is a guy who's literally critical of everybody. So it's like, he's got that sort of uncle sort of mentality because he knows the baser instincts of men. He's the type of person who knows the baser instincts of men. And when it comes to women, he tries to warn them ahead of time about what men can be like. Like that type of uncle energy, right? So he's basically turning around and saying, oh, well, what about men? What did they bring to the table? I'm like, at first I was like, yeah, say that shit. And then I'm thinking back to my own relationship. And I'm thinking back to the relationships I've had in the past. First of all, right? Because we live in a patriarchy, sex and love are treated like a fucking marketplace. So you're going to trade one thing with another thing. So in order for an older man with money to, that's the ideal. That's the setup. That's the idealized setup. It's going to be an older man with money, an older man that has nothing to offer physically, but everything to offer materially. Getting with a woman who may or may not have something to offer materially, but that has everything to offer physically. So that is the supposed trade that those with patriarchal standards or red pill people are looking for, right? Those are the standards that they're looking for. So everything that we do, whether we like it or not, everything that we do and the ways in which we try to attract each other, our body image, everything about ourselves are revolved around those ideals. I don't care if you think it's wrong. I don't care if you think it lacks nuance. The dating world has become a marketplace, or it always was a marketplace, because initially marriage was bartering anyway. So you're basically trading the body of a young woman, a young untouched woman with, and you're trading that for, the resources and material abundance that an older man provides. That was always the business setup. And because of that, what we have is people walking around thinking that they are automatically entitled to a pretty woman, or B, a man with money, when it really doesn't work like that. This is the thing. Love keeps things very fucking simple. Okay? I have experienced this. Love keeps everything very, very simple. When a man loves you, or even when a woman loves you, when you are loved, right? That man could be unemployed with no job. He could be working 2 or 3 jobs. He could be working a really good job. He could be in debt. He could be really in really good state. Like, it doesn't matter what the situation is. A man will protect and provide for you with the last change out of his fucking pocket on the 1% chance that it will make you happy. When a man really loves you, it doesn't matter what his fucking status is. He will look after you. He will look after you. He will make sure that when he comes to your house, he brings something with him. He will make sure that you don't take out, you want to take out your wallet. He's gonna be like, you know what, put that away. I'm paying for this. Doesn't matter what position the woman is in, doesn't matter what position he's in, he wants to provide for you. He wants to provide for you. When the time comes for you to, achieve your dreams and go after what you want, he's 100% behind you as well. When a man truly loves you, there is no what does she bring to the table, because the man's going to be like, you know what, I am the fucking table. Let me get set so that you can eat. That's how a man will be when he truly loves you. And when a woman truly loves you, or when a woman is truly happy in a relationship, you ain't got to ask what she's bringing. Because whatever a man gives her, a woman will multiply. A woman will multiply whatever it is that you bring as a man. So a woman who is truly happy and a man who is truly in love, don't fuck with that, because them two are the happiest motherfuckers on the planet. And they didn't need some fucking template from biblical days that were already rooted in abuse in the fucking first place. They didn't need that template in order to be in love. They didn't need that template in order to appreciate each other. All they needed was similar characters, similar morals, and just enough difference between themselves to not be bored of each other. That's all they needed. And it's the same with women, with same-sex relationships, with non-binary relationships. When it comes to love is very goddamn simple. You don't need to ask, what are you bringing to the table? What are you bringing? Do you even like them in the first place? And if you don't even like them in the first place, why the fuck are you entertaining it long enough to say, what are you bringing to the table? Why the fuck are you even entertaining it? Why are you entertaining it? I don't like you. I don't like you. And yet I want to waste your time by saying, what do you bring to the... I don't give a fuck what you bring to the table if I don't like you. If you are of any gender or any sex or any sexuality and you're asking what the other person's bringing to the table, you don't fucking like them, walk away. You don't like them, walk away. Focus on yourself and focus on attracting people who are attracted to you from a healed place. Focus on love. Don't do this marketplace shit. It's tired. Don't do this marketplace shit. It's fucking tired. If you've got someone you love that loves you, it cancels out all politics. All politics go out the fucking window. All of them. All of them. They don't give a like. Let me tell you something. A man in love with you, that he does not give a fuck. Not a single fuck. And a woman who's happy, a woman who's truly happy and is not strung along by a fucking dopamine dealer, I call men, like, you know, Big from Sex and the City. I call them dopamine dealers. Him and Alexander Petrovsky, they're dopamine dealers. Like hanging out bits of dopamine and keeping them stringing them along with dopamine hits. But you know, if you're as long as you're not with a man who's a dopamine dealer and you're with a man who genuinely makes you happy, content, like long-term content, or you're with it, you know, if you're a woman and you're content, and if you're a man and you're in love, like, simple. A happy woman will move mountains for the person that she's with. Move mountains. People are only focused on this gender war shit or any kind of cultural war shit because we're running out of money and resources, because we're not going after the right people, because we don't have the guts to go after the right people. So who do we go after? We go after each other. It's tired as hell. By the way, speaking of this, you know, we got to get men with money thing. I don't understand. Where the fuck do you think the money's coming from in a cost of living crisis? Am I the only one who thinks this is dumb? Am I the only one who thinks this is completely stupid? Where the fuck is the money coming from? Money is not changing hands like that. There was this a lady on this website for Harriet. I think I'm subscribed to her. Kimberly. She pointed this out, and some idiot on Twitter talked about her being low vibrational. No, that's not low vibrational, sweetheart. That's fucking realistic. Who the fuck has money in a fucking cost of living crisis? Let alone us turning around saying, well, broke boys don't deserve no pussy. I'm not being funny, but like, again, when a man's truly in love with you, he wants to make you happy. And a happy woman will move mountains for the guy or the woman or the non-binary person that she's with. It's really that fucking simple. It's not difficult. Fuck. Whew. I'm very passionate tonight. Very passionate and very creative. I've been having so many ideas whirl around in my head lately. I just needed an opportunity to just get at least some of that creativity out, if not all of it. The rest of it I'm going to write down. But yeah, I just wanted to come online and talk and say my piece, and just like, people just need to just stop. I ain't got no common sense, bro. I ain't got no common sense at all. It's ridiculous. Ugh. But anyway, my fellow T.I.s, I gotta go. We will talk soon. And yeah, stay in your power, my guy. Realize your power. The T.I.s, you're very powerful. And there's a reason why you were blinded from that power. But you know now. So the question is, what are you going to do with it? I love you guys very much. Peace and blessings. Bye-bye.